Alright guys, so first of all I want to say thank you for coming. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys Python and the Army knife is what my thing is called. So yeah, Army knife as in the Swiss Army knife, also known as Netcat. So my name is Vivi, I'm the CTF lead of the club right now. So why is it important? In Python, or in any other language, you can do soccer programming. It's fairly easy on Python. It's also used in war games, for example, capture the flags, general debugging if you're doing something over the network. And yeah, just learning how to use Netcat in general would be useful for you. So what is Netcat? Netcat is like Telnet, but better. Hi John. So pretty much it's a tool you can use to read and write data across the network. It's fine. So pretty much you connect to websites and other servers. You pretty much make a connection across the network. You could do that with Netcat too. No, it does different protocols, TCP, UDP, a few other ones if you know how to customize your queries pretty good. You can use to copy files from one server to another, even though it's pretty ancient now. Usually we just use things like FTP. Port scanning, grab HTTP headers, and you could use it to chat. It's just in general, a very general tool you could use across the network. So the basic Netcat usage is NC for Netcat, the IP address or domain, and then the port. And you combine it with other command line tools like pipe, grep, and bash if you want to. So I'm going to show you an example right now. I'm going to pwnable.kr. This is a kind of like a CTF kind of thing online, and it's not really on a time slot thing. You could just go on it, practice yourself, since your info security tools. I'm going to problems right here. So here we're going to toddler's bottle, just the basic stuff. And coin 1 right here on the left is one example of something you do in Netcat. So just take this command netcat pwnable.kr on port 9007. Full screen this. So I'm going to Netcat into the server right here, and pretty much it sends me this log right here. This is pretty much a game. In short, they give you a certain amount of coins, represented by n, and then chances to guess which coins out of all 4, for example, are fake coins, depending on the weight. So I could send things like, I want to check out 1, 2, 3. So these 4 coins, put it on the scale, see the weight. 40, because real valid coins are 40. So I only have 9 more chances, as you could see. Also have a time limit. This is an example of a CTF kind of method that people use for Netcat. So obviously this might be, you could write an algorithm for this. I'm guessing eventually though, you're going to put a time limit on it where you have to do it in 0.2 seconds. If that's the case, you have to use a script, which is why we use Python. So other usages, for example, how I was talking about you can connect to websites. So when you connect to how if you connect to websites you see an HTTP header. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but you could pretty much use the same thing. You could pretty much use the same thing to, for example, if I want to connect to facebook.com and just grab its headers. Connecting to facebook.com on port 80. 80 is the general website port kind of thing. And then I have to send it something because I'm connecting to it. If you guys know the TCP handshake, we always send something first. So for example, I could send this right here, and it'll send something like this. This is its response. Pretty much this is what you see when you're connecting to Facebook online in code. So yeah, that's one example of Netcat. Other usages, in general. Question, yeah.
Can it be used to connect to Telnet servers and BBSs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I've used it to connect. There was in the last CTF there was a Telnet server thing. I used Netcat for it, even though like the GUI was kind of messed up, so I just ended up using Telnet instead. But yeah, you can connect to like Telnet servers and stuff like that.
What's a PBS? What's a PBS server?
BBS?
Is that what you said?
Bulletin board?
Oh. Oh, BBS. Gotcha.
It's like a GUI on the. I'm talking about this thing.
Yeah.
It was a game. It was a text-based game that had like lines and stuff. But okay, it's not really a GUI, but
It's a TUI, I think.
yeah. Okay, sure. Text user interface. Sure, that works. Hi, Hanson.
How's it going?
So this is something you'll see at many CTFs where you have to write a script, testing your programming skills. Sometimes you even have to exploit the binary that it's running on. So for example, this is a script that they run on the server, and sometimes you have to like jailbreak out of it, just in general. So very basic in general, that's Netcat. How you start? Any questions here before I go on or not? Alright, so now we're going on to Python. Like I said, I'm going to use Python to connect to sockets. In general, if you don't know what Python is a general scripting language. You can use it for shell or to sockets, to applications, anything you really want. Very easy to pick up. It's like Ruby. Easier than Pro. I mean, you could use Ruby too if you're comfortable with it. So Python basics. Variables are stored like this. Quarter equals 50. Note that you'll need to declare what type is it. If there is no colon apostrophe things, it's going to assume it's an integer. If it's numbers, strings, you have to put. This will let it know that it's a string. So yeah, that's just how you store variables on Python. Questions there? Who here knows Python already? Okay, that's pretty good. So I know you guys are taking Java right now. You probably have to put like string quarter equals something, something like that. So in Python, you don't have to do that. It already assumes things for you.
What would colon be?
Colon?
Colon, like this.
Oh.
Like.
Oh, it's the same thing. You could use a apostrophe or you're talking about
Double quotes.
the double quotes?
Colon. Double quotes, yeah.
Yeah, the double. You could use double quotes too. It's the same thing. There is minor differences, but in case of general strings, it doesn't really matter. Python basics. This is a for loop. The syntax is for x in range of two numbers. For example, if you want to loop 10 times, for x in range 0 to 10, I equals I plus 1, for example. I want you to notice that I don't actually have to put a semicolon. Semicolons aren't used in Python either. You know how in Java our programs always break because we miss a semicolon or something like that. So in Python you don't have to worry about that. And then just the way we do any conditionals or loops, we just mark it down with this little colon right here, and then you indent. That's the only thing you really have to do for that kind of syntax. So an example, I'm gonna show you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Does it matter if you indent or use spaces?
You can use spaces, I believe.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But it has to be.
It needs to be the same length though, like constant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you stick with, if you start off with tabs instead of spaces, then you have to stick with tabs otherwise. Like for indentation.
Yeah. I think. I'm not confirmed. I never tried. I always just use tabs. So what? So this is one of my scripts, right, that I wrote. So what I was showing you earlier, this right here is a string, declaring it 104, 103. This is a number, port equals 12121. This is socket programming if you guys don't know. See, right here I'm defining functions. I haven't gone through that yet, but yeah, it's just def, the function name, the parameters. Again, you won't have to really declare it. Then the colon to mark, you know, the whole thing, and then this returns C, no semicolons either. Over here, for example, if statements, just straight up F, this index is equal to -1, return 0, just a colon, and then an indent. That's about it. The only exception is else. This might throw you off. On else statements, you do have to put this thing right here, and again another indent. I didn't go through this, but basic syntax for printing out is just print. It's really user friendly, so you don't have to work hard in Python. Any questions? Okay. So Python basics, here's arrays. In Python they're called a list. So the example of the officers. Officers equals Vivi, Armin, Matt, Josh, Hansen. Those are current officers. Print officers 2, that'll print 0. That'll print Matt, for example. Whoa. You can also do sublist. So print officers 2 to 5. So that's gonna print Matt. Actually, that's an overflow, but 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 2, 3, 4. Actually, no, it's not. It doesn't include the 5. Actually, it does not include the 5. Sorry. So just 4. Matt, Josh, and Hansen. I'm sorry. Defining functions right here, same thing. I went through this earlier, but for example, define addition of the function to ints. Socket programming. Pretty much all you need to know about Python socket programming is that you have a host, which is going to be a string or an IP address, the port, the data you want to send. In general, this is always empty when you're first connecting to it. You're defining this S as a variable socket. You pretty much just copy and paste this every time you're making a new socket, and then you connect to the host and port. First of all, and then if you want to print something from the socket, you do s.recover and then how many bytes you want, and you can also send data, and just make sure you send this new line every time so it gets sent, because that's how you do in Netcat too, kind of thing. Yeah.
What is a socket?
Yeah, so I knew that question was going to come up. So sockets are what you use to connect between ports or data across the network. You want to answer this,
No, go ahead.
Dustin?
No, man.
It's just pretty much the way. Dang it. So yeah, it's like the thing you use to connect between two servers or across the network. So for example, every time you're connecting to a server online, there's always going to be a socket made and then a port associated with it. So port is like the destination, kind of. So you have a server. Okay, you have two servers. They have like a million different ports, right? A million different ports for different applications, and the socket is what you use to connect the ports together. And you can talk in between, depending on the protocol. Just imagine it as the phone call between. From ports are the phone number, and then the data that's being sent in between, or like the phone, for example. You could call it that. You could call that the socket. If anyone has any like.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Like port is like someone's. Well, IP address and feed.
I'd say it's like a phone extension, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A phone extension. But
yeah. Questions?
Does that make sense? Or
So pretty much right here, I'm just making the phone call. That's pretty much what I'm doing.
can you explain like HTTP port and like how that works, like connecting to a website?
Yeah, but that might take a while.
Oh, that's fine.
So there's something like 65,000 different ports.
535.
Different ports, and they're basically locations that data is transferred to on a computer, and I mean that the computer receives, or like let's say at Harvard, like there's different like places that should get docked or something, and there's there's port numbers that are by convention supposed to be associated with different things. Like 80 is for HTTP, 21 is for FTP, and there's like various different conventions. Of course, you don't have to follow it, but that's generally how it goes. It's sort of like lanes on highway or something.
So every time you visit a web page, like let's say you open up your browser and you go to facebook.com, you're connecting to their port 80, unless it's over HTTPS, which
It'll be
443. Yeah.
Maybe port 80, 82, like in this example.
Yeah.
So yeah. Questions?
So like how carpool lane is in the innermost or something, and then like by convention, if you're going carpool, that would be the innermost lane.
So this is something you do learn in like basic networking class, or you can just pretty much pick it up learning the field too. So, you have any questions? Feel free. Are you good? You sure? Okay.
If you didn't touch networking, you would not know this though. So
Yeah.
it's okay if you don't know.
Yeah, I actually looked it up last night to make sure, but yeah. So no, I'm not. Yeah, we're not geniuses. So here's, I'm gonna do a demo for you. I think I already showed you it. Whoa. That's my Sublime. Let's throw that off. Guys, I forgot where I put all my stuff. No, dude. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
What did you pull up?
Where was it?
Locate. Use the locate command.
Yeah, I think I deleted it. It's whatever. All right, we'll make it right now because we're cool, right?
You can cut this part out of the final recording.
No, we'll make a socket together right now. It'll be awesome. Just so people don't get overwhelmed. Right now I'm just gonna copy my old code. Just so let's save it over here, desktop. Okay. Alright, so here, make sure you have the import socket. I forgot to mention that. I'm gonna just delete all this because we're not gonna make it. We're gonna make a, for example, let's say that program we did earlier. We're gonna make a socket to that. So first of all, it was pwnable.kr. So let's just put that in here. Whoa. Port 9007. Data's empty. This is going to be IPv4. You can do IPv6 if you're connecting to an IPv6 server. In general, IPv4 is fine. Questions there? Or you guys know what that is? Okay, you're good. So now this connects to it, and then we just do a simple let's do a print recover, and this is gonna be coin, right? We did it for coin. Alright, so we're gonna try to run the script. Hopefully it works. I don't know if it'll work. Let's take this off. Okay, so to run Python script, it's Python, then the script. No, okay, it worked. Okay, cool. So we made the socket. We connected to the same thing as earlier. But now it's a script. You can automate things. So now I could, if I wanted to get the rest of the data that it sends to us, I could put even more things. Where's my Sublime? So over here it says, oh, see, actually I'm missing more because I ran out of data, but I could actually increase that. 50.
I'm just changing that value.
So this is the bytes that you want to receive. In general, 1024 is enough. Yeah.
So just so you don't miss any data, is it possible to put like 50,000 or something, or is that a bad idea?
You can, but it could slow down. You just wanna. Usually, it never goes over 1024 or 2058, unless you're, a weird server where you're sending big files or something. I guess you can if you want. It's up to you. Whatever. It's different between applications. In general, in Netcat, you never have something that big. So. You have a question?
No.
So you see, I said right here, it's starting in 3 seconds. So it'd be good to put a sleep. Is that the right format? Time.sleep. So I'm gonna make it sleep for like 4 seconds. So it's gonna pause, and I'm gonna get the thing. Save it. Okay, so then I would have to grab this, run my function on it, and then, and then send back data that I would want, kind of thing. Do you guys see that? So you can't store it. These are strings right here. So you can't store these as like, data equals string. This is a string, then you could just call function on data. We'll call it coin this string, and then so go on and so forth. So I'm gonna leave this up to you guys. You guys can look up the algorithm for figuring out the missing coin. If you guys want to play, you guys can do it yourself. This actually looks like it might be kind of hard, but like you guys should be able to do it. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you a write-up that I didn't really write up, but one example of an actual application of this, where recently there was a CTF called Open to All CTF by the Reddit subgroup. There was a Netcat one on there. CD Open to All. So this was at earlier. So pretty much, when you connected to it. Okay, first off, let's do this cat. So it was worth 200 points. It was in the group miscellaneous. Pretty much you just have to connect to 104.131.107.153 on port 121.121. So after I did do a Netcat onto 104 like this, and then it's obviously done right now because the competition is over. So what it would give you though is pretty much it would give you this. Actually, this right here. Hey, dude, that was your problems. Can you do my math homework? And then it did things like you have 10 seconds to solve this problem. 389 plus -40. And then this is my input right here. My script did this. I would send 349. Then you send me another problem, -1600, and eventually you'll get to like 0.5 a second to do these, and some really big numbers. And again, I wouldn't be able to do this in real life. Probably can sometimes, but not all the time. Half a second to do it. I want to see. You guys could try if you want, but I have a script to do it, so I could do it. And then I thought at this point I was like, yeah, I'm done. But then they're like, oh no, it's gonna get harder. So now we did system of equations, and this was really annoying for me because I totally forgot how to do my math, even though I'm a math minor. But after, this was actually the hardest part for me, because I had to check like a few conditions were like negative and positive. But in general, you could figure it out if you know your system of equations. So what's the value of x right here? When you get 1 to 1, there's the value of y, 297. And eventually you have to do system equations in like 0.5 seconds as well, which is literally impossible unless you're a genius, but it's for big numbers like this. And then I thought I was done, like, yeah, that's the hard part. And then we end the calculus. It's like find the derivative of these, where x equals 1. And I was like, no. But actually, derivatives are easier than, you know, everything else, because you kind of just subtract the exponent and then multiply it. So that was fairly easy.
So all this is you automated, right?
Yeah, so all this is automated. I probably edited this. I probably edited my script, which is called math.py right here, at least like 100 times. So I connected to the thing. Here's the port 1 to 1 to 1 like earlier. Here's my functions, add, then, you know, it just returns. This is the casting, so it's just adding 2, then returning it. This multiplication, subtraction, addition. This is exponents right here. Yeah, I think this is what I use for yeah, so in general it's exponents. So right here is when I first started. I first connected to it, saved the data. There's like a few sublists on here, and I split it. So for example, it would split. Oh no! Let's close some of this real quick. So it would split this right here into an array, and I'll just grab this, and this to, you know, do my thing. So that's what I did here. I stored it in a array called store, grab 0 and 2, answer, and I together just printed it out for all of them. So the first set was just all addition. I did that 8 times because, you know, that was what the thing did, 8 times. Then linear equations right here. A little bit harder because it was kind of more complicated. Same thing, just split it, put in an array called store, and then you did my multiplication, subtractions, and things like that, and division. And then calculus problem, same thing, except with exponents, obviously. So here's my exponents with the 2 numbers, and then I would send the data eventually over here. Okay, so the last portion of the calculus problems, it kept like adding more and more, which is really annoying. Right here. If you see right here, it's only like 1, then it was like 4, then 10. And it was inconsistent. It never increased and add some more. It was always different. So I had to manually do the iterations rather than just making a loop. So here's the first loop. Then the 2 through 5, 6 iteration, and then the 6th and 7th and 8th. And at the end, it'll give you the flag right here. Hey, thanks, buddy. Here's a little something for your trouble. I got the flag.
Nice.
Woo.
Math minor.
Actually, so I didn't look at Redis for this. There is like already like libraries that actually do derivatives and stuff like that. So I could actually potentially make this a lot shorter. So I wouldn't have to like define my own derivatives and stuff like that. But yeah. Questions on, you know, usages for Python and Netcat and stuff like that? No? Alright, cool, we're done.
Right here.
Yeah, hi.
What is the black thing you are using?
Sublime?
What is that?
It's just a text editor. It's just like doing on command line, for example, you could use Sublime. It's just like, you know, on Windows, Notepad. is probably the one you
Plain
use.
text editor. There's no formatting on the text. It's just text.
Yeah, so you can use Vim on. Just close this. So you can use Vim on command line if you want, but this is Linux, and you also use Nano.
Nano.
Okay, I never used Nano, but yeah, you can use Nano.
There's also BI, but it's pretty much.
It's just like a
VI will I think it's now just go straight to Vim if you use VI.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
If you don't have
Some of
Vim
them
installed,
don't. It's
that's
really
pretty nice
annoying.
still.
this
No,
update.
you need to install VI manually, but I don't think anyone's even maintaining VI anymore.
So all of this is just a plain text editor. On Windows, people use like Notepad. You can use Word if you want, but it might be a little annoying. With the I wouldn't use Word. Don't use Word. Because you know, if you're messing with code, because you can also look at like, for example, can you hack it? Where is it? Oh no, guys.
What?
So this is an example. You can also look at, for example, binaries, like we were talking about earlier in plain text. And this is what it would look like, you know.
Why?
But you know, why would you do that? I guess that's garbage. You could run strings. Questions?
If you open it in different encoding, it'll show the text.
I would just XSD it.
What's XSD?
XSD hex dump. It just translates this into hex and prints it out. But you probably wouldn't want to do that anyway. Yeah.
Like, if it's like kind of like a notepad kind of thing, how do you get your code to run? Like, what runs it?
You have to run it from a command line. The text and like the code itself is just in the, like you just edit it in the editor, but you run it from command line. You send like the command.
Yeah, so you know how on what I was doing earlier, I was switching between my this thing and then my Sublime. So I would, let's see.
Oh, they were similar because of a flaw.
Oh, I'm sorry. So they are different. I like black. So where did I put it? Do you guys know where I put it?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it's in my desktop. Sorry. So you know, like I had two windows like this. I did Sublime on Coin. So this is like, this is my editor. This is my command line, and I would just run it using over here to run it. Yeah. And then this is my, I edit it here, so.
Just put an ampersand after the Sublime command though.
Why?
Put
So
the
as a
background.
background, you don't have to have a specific window.
Oh, well I use it for, what's an ampersand?
And
sign.
Oh, okay, I did not know that. Things you know,
Except
yay!
it still prints all those messages though.
Oh, but then you can't,
Wait, what?
Are you trying to quit it now?
that's fine. Alright.
Oh,
You just
what
p
the-
kill Sublime or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you close the instance.
Questions? So if you are, since you're a Windows person, not to put you on the spot, I would recommend Sublime is on there too, I think, on Windows.
Yep.
You also use Notepad++, which is like the more programming type version of Notepad. So and it's pretty good. I used that for my first year.
I still use it.
You still use it?
Notepad.
Don't use that Notepad. It's horrible.
I'm never on Windows. I have like a
No
partition.
stuff
I've touched it in
happening.
like a year and a half.
No line numbers.
Yeah.
No customers.
I don't know. On Linux, I don't have line numbers or anything fancy like that, or highlighting or anything. I use LeafPad. LeafPad Nano.
Do you have any other questions?
Why does everyone hate on BlueJ?
Because BlueJ is terrible and no one uses it to its full potential because it's supposed to show you the polymorphism and how everything inherits everything else, but when it's used in the introductory programming course, it's never used in that way. You never show like, oh, see, all these lines mean this and that, but then they don't tell you anything about that. And they basically just use it as basic IDE, like development environment where you type code and run it, you know. But then when using it just like that, first it has no error correction. It doesn't show you like where there's errors. Like it doesn't underline stuff saying like this is wrong. And it doesn't have like any sort of like features. It's pretty much just like typing into Notepad. So
It's just better IDEs. It's like it's an IDE, but there's better ones out there.
It's just like you're typing code into Notepad. You might as well do that.
Alright, so since we're off topic now, I'm gonna end my
Well, basically BlueJ is bad and...
I'm gonna end my video here, so yeah.
Put this in recording.
Should I take this off? Alright, so yeah, we're done.